YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Glad you could all be with us today. Hey, do us a huge favor, will you, and hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and don't forget to drop us a comment and share it with your friends. It helps us a lot with that YouTube algorithm. We bought this unit back in 2019, and we thought it'd be a good time to give you a 5-year review of how this machine's worked for us over the last 5 years. We've got about 10 different points we'd like to cover with you, and it's all based on our personal use of the machine. I'll put the model number in the description so you can take a look at that. It was purchased basically for mowing, I'm going to say 3 to 4 acres of land we have, and we mow that land over 6 to 7 months, depending on the weather. There are currently about 183 hours on the machine. That translates into about 36 hours per year. Again, for us mowing about 6 or 7 months, and cutting, I'm going to say we cut every 1 to 2 weeks, depending. Sometimes maybe we'll cut 3 weeks, depending on the growing season. Okay, let's get into the engine. It's a 24 horsepower Kohler V-twin engine, and it's proven for us to provide ample power for operating the mower. We typically only mow when the grass is dry and less than, I'm going to say, 5 inches in height, and at various speed rates ranging from around 2 to 6 miles an hour, I'm going to say. And the engine has consistently produced sufficient power for us to provide a really nice, smooth, consistent cut. So I definitely think this mower, for us anyway, is sufficiently powered. The engine service and maintenance is really simple and relatively convenient. Everything's really easily accessible to work on, especially when it comes to the maintenance of it. You've got your fuel filter right there, your fuel shutoff that we put on. That's a little additional feature we like to have on the mowers. And of course there's your oil filter right there where you can see it, easy to get to. And what I really liked about the machine is you've got this drain hose that hooks onto the engine and makes it really easy to drain the oil without getting it all over everything. But you can see it's pretty easy to work on. The starter's right there. You can get to your spark plugs easy enough, and it's really simple for maintenance. So let's open it up and take a look at the fuel tank. That holds 3.5 gallons of fuel, and we burn non-ethanol fuel in it, so it saves us on replacing carburetors. They have a tendency to get gummed up. We can mow, I'm going to say, 4 to 5 acres on a full tank. I never really, measured it out, but that seems to be kind of what we get out of a tank of fuel. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the maneuverability of it. Like most zero-turn, steering is accomplished by using these lap bars you got right here. They're in the parking brake locked position now, but essentially it's like driving a tank. The braking's integrated into the system, and we found that it provides reasonable braking on flat and level ground. When you're moving vertically on sloped ground, braking is definitely more challenging. And we found that even when the wheels are at full stop, skidding or sliding downhill can occur with a sensation similar to sliding on ice when you're traveling in the forward motion. We've also found the braking to be better when slowly backing down vertical slopes. So we'll back down a slope rather than go straight down going forward. So we avoid really steep vertical travel in the forward direction on sloped areas. You never mow the grass has any kind of moisture. So we also found that if you make quick or abrupt turns, that can result in damage to the lawn or whatever you're mowing at the time, because especially if one wheel locks up and you keep going with the other one, when you make that little pivot, you end up ripping the grass up. So our resolution to that was relatively simple. All you do is make it slow, gentle turns right or left. That'll minimize the damage to your lawn. And we found that the machine really does, it's got good response time, and there's little drivetrain slop when we're driving it. So that's always a plus. The third thing is the build quality in the ride. We found that this square tube, all steel quality, to be excellent. It's held up really well. I mean, right now it's dirty, hasn't been washed, so it looks a little bit grungy, but it's really held up exceptionally well, I think. The only exception will be the deck, and we'll talk about that in a minute here. But as far as the mower body itself and the tube construction, as you can see, it's really in pretty good shape. So you can adjust the seat position right here in the back, and there's your pressure switch, which is a safety feature for it. The seat is really comfortable, and I showed you how you adjust it. It doesn't take much to do that. It's not an air ride, but it's definitely a step up from some of the tractor seats that we've used in the past. There's no real suspension on this machine, like shocks or springs or anything like that, which leaves just the seat cushion and the air in the tires to be your comfort for the ride. While we've not used them, the optional armrests would probably make a great addition to a more comfortable ride. So if anybody's out there has got a ZT with the armrest, let us know. Drop us a line in the comments, will you? And let us know if you like that or if that makes a big difference as far as comfort goes, because we were thinking about getting a set of those for this machine. The other thing that's nice about the way they built this machine is the cover that you have here. Right here. That comes out with one bolt, and it allows you to have a lot of access to clean out the deck, which we'll be doing shortly, without having to pull the entire deck off. If you want to clean the entire deck, you really got to pull it out, take the covers off, and make sure it's all cleaned up. But that's a nice little feature to have, so you can get in there and look at the top of the deck. The welds are all in good shape. I haven't seen any cracks or buckling of any kind on this frame. It's really the frame integrity has been great. So the starter switch and hour meter and PTO are all nicely located on that little console right there, giving you some instructions on how to operate it. And it also lets you know what your battery voltage is, and it'll let you know if you have low oil pressure, which it always does until the motor's running. It'll give you that low oil pressure warning. But that's nice. It's all well concealed, easy to access, and it's right next to your throttle. Sort of the fourth thing I want to talk about a little bit was the safety equipment. We always read and you should always read the safety warnings. Make sure you're familiar with all the safety warning labels that are on the equipment. Read your owner's manual. Make sure you're fully aware of and understand all the safety precautions and rules. We did that with this. Basically, the machine has a pressure sensitive switch on the seat, so if you're not on the seat, the machine shuts off. Right now, as that sits, this will not start because the left lap bar is in the engaged position. They both have to be in the parking brake position, which is like that, for the machine to start. So while it does have a pressure switch for the seat, it does not have a ROPS or rollover protection, as you can tell as we look at the machine here. It doesn't have the ROPS, and probably is because the machine, I don't believe, is designed for operating on slopes. The machine really is a flat, kind of level ground machine, I think. We do, like I said, use it on slopes, but we're very, very careful when we do. It has a tendency to slide downhill if you're not careful. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, there is no rollover protection for this machine, so it's really a flat, level ground machine. It does have LED lights, which I guess is a safety feature. I guess you can mow at night with it. We haven't done a lot of night mowing with this particular unit. I guess it'll allow you to be more visible to people at night or at dusk or even during the day. This machine actually had one of the LED lights go out, which needed to be replaced. It was one of our pet peeves with this. Hey, and I'd like to know if you've had your lights go out on your Cub Cadet ZT1, or if that's something that's unique to me. I don't know how many people have had the LEDs fail, but when they do, you got to replace both of them. So they're like one unit, and they're not cheap. They're pretty pricey. I think, I don't know, 60-70 bucks, which was not real happy about. And I think the light went out at maybe 150 hours, something like that. But we do have a video about the repair, so you can take a look at that if you'd like, and see how we replaced the burned out LED light. Ah, yes, the Mower Deck. So this particular ZT1 came with a 54-inch fabricated mower deck. As far as cutting grass goes, it has performed adequately. It does what it's supposed to do. It cuts grass. It does it in a fairly nice fashion, gives you a nice even cut. We have high lift blades on the unit when it came, and we've replace those once in 5 years. Obviously, we've sharpened those blades. We typically sharpen the blades every 5 to 6 cuttings we do because of the large area that we're cutting with them. And it's, you know, it can scalp the ground, but we haven't had a big issue with scalping the ground with this particular mower deck. We've done an earlier video about these about the mower deck, specifically related to it rusting and paint flaking off, like right here. And that's, you know, that can be expected, right? you're gonna hit stuff, but things that aren't quite as expected were the things that weren't quite as expected was the flaking of the paint here. You know, we got some grass there, up here, and what we've done is we have a video that you can take a look at. We'll put the link in this video if you want to see it. But you know, it seems like it's just going to be part of the standard maintenance kind of thing. And back in there, back where the spring is, a big spring back there that keeps tension on the belt, that also has been rusting and flaking. So we'll probably have to go and, you know, grind it down again and repaint it as sort of an annual maintenance thing with it. Some people have commented that the reason that you got flaking and, you know, some rusting going on is because, you know, we didn't take really good care of it, or we mowed when it was wet, and, you know, you got wet grass up there. Well, we don't mow when it's wet, number one, so it's not like it's gotten wet, and we clean it every time. And it just seems to be that for some reason the paint likes to flake off. So like I said, we just add it to our sort of annual maintenance issues, and you know, grind it down and you know, repaint it and keep it in good shape. Seems to be just kind of a natural wear and tear, but it was just a little bit disappointing. You know, again, this is sort of a review of our machine as opposed to a how-to operate it, but I think one thing bears noting is that it really is easy to raise and lower that deck, and it's really easy to adjust it. There's an adjustment here, sort of control the angle of the deck. You've got your height selection knob right here, which ranges between, I think, 1 and 4.5. You've got your pedal over here, which raises the deck up, lowers the deck down, you push it up, you come back over here, you can then select the height you want from 4.5, I think, all the way down to 1, yeah, which we don't use much. And you drop down to 1, puts it almost right on the ground. The spindles in the unit, we haven't checked them in a while, so you really need to take these covers off to clean all the grass out of the mower deck, because there's spindles. There's 3 spindles on here, 3 blades, and a lot of times the grass, if you let it build up, it's going to cause excessive heat around that spindle, which can burn out the little bearing, and they're not greasable. So that was a little disappointing, to be honest with you. Everybody knows in this day and age, right, and for years, you know, your spindle had a zerk on it so you could grease it. They're gonna burn out eventually, and then you got to replace them, as opposed to if you kept them greased all the time, you wouldn't have that problem. They certainly last a lot longer. So at any rate, take these covers off and keep your spindles clean so you get the airflow and they don't heat up and prematurely burn out. We paid a little under $3,000. For some reason, I'm thinking like $2,800 plus tax. I mean, it puts it right around 3, but the actual retail price, I think, was around 28, and that was for the 54-inch mower deck. Now, you know, given that was in 2019, so we're looking at 5 years ago, but I think the price for this machine now is north of $3,500. You know, I think it's right around 36 or something like that, plus tax. So you can see that they've certainly gone up in cost since we bought this machine. They say the resale of these is pretty strong, and I did a little bit of research online for this review just to see what a 2019 54-inch ZT1 Ultima would go for. And I saw some pricing, and pretty much it was between $2,500 and $2,900 depending on the options, you know, if it had a bagger, it didn't have a bagger, and the hours. I think one that was just like this machine had like 100 hours on it. I think they were asking $2,900. I didn't really go in and do an in-depth, what they actually sold for, because what they're asking is, not necessarily what you're going to get, but $2,500 to $2,900. I think if we paid around $28 for it, I think it's holding its value pretty good for a 5-year machine. The seventh thing is that these mowers have, a decent amount of optional equipment. You can get baggers for them. There's mulching kits you can buy. We don't have a mulching kit. We have the high flow blades on this one. There's some like small trailers or haulers you can get to hook up behind it that I think Cub Cadet makes, or you can put on your own aftermarket. There's some spreaders you can use. There's a sweeper attachment. So just about anything you can tow, because in the back it does have a spot for you to hook up to. A little hitch in the back, which is nice. The warranty, like I mentioned earlier, is a 3-year limited warranty on the engine. There's a 3-year unlimited hour warranty on the machine. That's come and gone, of course, because it's 5 years old now, but it does have a full frame and deck shell lifetime warranty on this machine. So of course there's fine print to read, which I haven't done yet, but that does have at least the option for to look at the limited lifetime warranty on the frame and on that shell of the deck. So I guess maybe if you have a rust through or something, they'll replace it. I'll have to take a look. Right now it's nowhere near that condition, and hopefully won't be, since we added in the kind of grinding the rust off and repainting it as part of our maintenance schedule. The ninth thing I wanted to talk about was the noise level of the Ultima ZT1 when compared to some of the other mowers we use, like the John Deere L120 that we use to mow. So I'm going to put the decibel level readings of the Ultima ZT1 and the John Deere L120 that we have to do sort of a side-by-side comparison. And I'd like to know what you think in the comments, which one you think would be louder. Would it be the Ultima ZT1, or would it be the John Deere L120, which has about the same size motor, I think, maybe a few horsepower less. Let us know in the comments which one you think, and at the end of the video, I'll show you the results. The 10th thing I wanted to talk about was sort of our 5-year overall ownership experience with this machine. So it's got 183, a little more than 183 hours on it right now. We've owned it since the springtime of 2019. We talked about the deck having some peeling paint. We know that the headlights, LED headlights, had to be replaced. I had to make a little bit of a choke adjustment so that the cold starts were a little easier. We've done routine maintenance, obviously, changing like the oil, the filters, grinding the blades, replaced the blades once. Other than that, we did have one problem with this left front tire. The seal was broken on that, so we had to put an inner tube in that one. Probably should have put them in both, but I only put it in that one for now. We'll wait for the other one to go. So I did have to put an inner tube in there. But other than that, the Ultima ZT1 has been a very good buy, I think, and performed very well for our needs. I think, in our opinion, best for mowing level or pretty level lawn areas to avoid, any kind of slopes. It's a fast-moving mower. I mean, it's rated for like 7 miles an hour, in forward, and 3.5 miles an hour reverse. So it definitely moves. But I think it's best, this particular version, this ZT1, I think it's best for flat or pretty flat, slight sloped areas, and don't mow in any kind of moisture or wet conditions. Yeah, so it's so overall I'd give it a 4 out of 5 stars and not 5 out of 5, and that's simply because, and it might sound a little picky, is because of the deck peeling and the headlight issue. I didn't think the headlights should go, especially LED ones, and then be like $60 to replace both of them, because you can't replace just one, you got to replace them both. So that was a little disappointing. But yeah, I think it's a decent zero turn at a decent price point. I know, we paid, like I said, under $3,000 for this back in 2019, and they're, north of 35 now. So I guess as, inflation and everything, that's reasonable. But yeah, I think it's a decent mower for, flat level areas. And as far as noise goes, I told you I'd tell you at the end. I'll put it up in the video right now. the results between the L120 John Deere, which is like a 2007 or 8 machine, and the 2019 Ultima ZT1, and see which one is quieter. Okay, I guess it showed that the Ultima ZT1 is a little bit quieter than the John Deere. That was actually our John Deere LA 175 with a 26 horsepower motor in it. But the Ultima came in at about 92.5 decibels. And the John Deere was a close second at about 90.2 decibels. So the John Deere was a little bit quieter at head height. And they say anything over 75 decibel requires hearing protection, and we always wear hearing protection on whatever equipment we're running. So we'd suggest you do the same. So I hope you liked the video. Hope you found it informative, or at least interesting about our experience with this over the 5 years. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. And if you could subscribe, that'd be great too. Share it with your friends. That helps us all out with the YouTube algorithm, so we'll get this video out to more people who are interested in the Cub Cadet. And share it with your friends. That's also helpful too. So until next time, we'll see you later.